The takeaway there was that you should never be comfortable in your business and you should never feel like things are great because something can flip and change every single day, just like you in real estate.
Oh my
the market
gosh.
could crash tomorrow
Yeah.
or the next day, and then you have tons of homes and you have tons of inventory and people that are trying to sell that you can't help them at that moment. And that's what I felt, that pressure.
I am Josh Galindo. I've built several successful businesses utilizing the one tool everybody has, the mind. I am here to guide, coach, and prepare you. We will debate, discuss, and grow our minds together so you can obtain your own success. Fuck average, be legendary. This is my podcast.
What's up, guys? Josh Galindo with the Be Legendary podcast. Today, I had an incredible guest. His name was Travis Turner. He is the CEO for Lux Lifestyles. They are a concierge service here in Las Vegas, and they do everything. It was mind-blowing to hear some of the stories he has fulfilled for many of his clients. I was like really blown away. Something that I would use personally. I am in the process of signing up with him. It's a killer service. Travis Turner, Lux Lifestyle, a concierge service here in Las Vegas like none other, and arguably globally. You got to listen. You'll learn more. Great podcast. See you soon. What's up, Travis?
What's up, Mr. Galindo?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what a treat to have you.
I know. It's been a long time coming.
I know. You know, last major interaction we had, it was the EDC driver for my Sprinter van problem.
Right when you had just finished remodeling the Sprinter after you purchased it, I think.
I actually bought it that way.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Really?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to do that.
That's an incredible Sprinter.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's fun. But so we're connected through my mom.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about you're a part of that tribe?
Yeah, so I joined the CEO tribe. Actually, let me rewind. Your mother went through Leadership Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I went through Leadership Las Vegas a few years prior to her. And she was accepted in the program the year that COVID just took a shit on all of us. And I was given the honor of being her mentor during that. And little did I know that she was going to end up being mine. But I say this all the time. I completely slept on the relationship with her. And for a couple of years, it would just be, hey, how are you? Great to see you. It was also a really weird time during COVID and just a lot of uncertainties and just everything that's happening and trying to focus on your own mental stability.
Sure.
But she's truly one of the most incredible people that I've met. And I identified last year, towards the end of the year, I said, look, if I'm going to be the best CEO that I can be, if I'm going to focus on growth, I need to do a couple of things. And one of them is hire a nutritionist, personal trainer, and executive coach.
Wow.
So I reached out to your mom in December and I said, hey, if you have space at the table, I'd love to be considered whatever sort of application I need to do. And of course, she's very careful and looks at the industries that we're all in. But I've officially joined forces with the CEO tribe in March, and it's the coolest experience.
Oh, that's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed because that's my mom. And then hearing you describe her that way, to me, she's my mom. Obviously, I know she's very unique and special and talented in a lot of what she does. But it's so cool to hear other people just speak that highly of her.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And she's made two incredible kids. And I told her, and I also told Jessica, I was like, shit, I'm nervous to podcast with Josh because I have the biggest business crush on you on growth. Like I have the biggest potty mouth. I'm the biggest charismatic person, but I also sat back and I was like, I'm nervous to podcast with Josh Galindo.
We'll see how you take away the interaction. I've had a lot of people sit on that side and be like, man, I thought you were going to be like so intense. And I'm like, I'm a naturally intense person. I'm a naturally energetic person. But a lot of times people meet me in person. They're like, you're not who you are and how we perceive you online. And the reality is unfortunately, no one would watch any of the videos if there wasn't some shock value. And you got to think these are hours-long recordings, whether it's at an event or an hour-long podcast, and then the team pulls like the most powerful statement that they can out of those clips, and then that's just all people see, But I'm very grateful to hear you say that. I'm pretty proud of what we've built. I love to share on how I built it.
Absolutely.
So there's no question off limits, honestly. So if you're curious, just fire away. But let's make it about you for just a moment. So tell me about your business.
So back in 2021, actually it's the year that your mother joined Leadership Las Vegas. On her opening session day, I launched my company.
What's the name of
So
it?
we are Lux Lifestyle Managers and the Emergent Group. Emergent Group is our HQ, our corporation, and then Lux Lifestyle Managers, the DBA under us.
Okay.
And we do a lot of lifestyle management for business leaders. We now work with celebrities. We work with athletes all over the nation. We have a huge contract with the NFL to do white glove service for all 33 owners of the NFL.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
That's gigantic.
huge, and I still pinch myself every day. How the hell does this happen, and how did we get it? And we're one of two companies that are moving forward with the NFL from Las Vegas post Las Vegas Super Bowl.
Tell me what does the white glove service mean?
So it's basically
Like, give us some details of what the business is, but we'll start with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of personal assistance and concierge service. So we started working with all of the teams about a month and a half prior to the Super Bowl taking place in Las Vegas, and becoming familiar with all of the ownership and their families and everything that they need within their time in Las Vegas. And from the moment that their jets arrive until the moment that their jets depart, it was our turn to manage all of their needs. So restaurant reservations, car services, show tickets, all of these different things, they all fell under us. Or, somebody runs a hole in her pantyhose. I have one of my team members out there just making sure that it's needed, or hair and makeup in their rooms, or IV service, you name it. We took care of everything that we did that they needed, on top of attending all of the big special events with them.
Oh,
So
my
NFL
goodness.
honors, the commissioner's party, which was one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen in my life. Most celebrities I've ever seen in my presence. And I usually don't get starstruck. And I found myself a few times like,
Oh, I'm sure.
oh shit, Tom
Yeah.
Brady's right next
Oh,
to
my
me.
goodness.
Or, Eli and Peyton Manning. I've worked actually with all three of them. They're all in my Rolodex. But to have been there with them and been in a little bit more of a personal atmosphere, it was really cool. And then day of Super Bowl, which was pretty kick-ass. I mean, we had control of all the ownership suites and everything that they'd need. And, Shaquille O'Neal's asking my team, like, hey, I want a scoop of ice cream or a pretzel, stuff like that. We're out running. And of course, we had the queen herself, Taylor Swift, that was on our floor as well.
Oh, man.
And we didn't know that she was actually going to be in that set of two suites because it just said Super Bowl 58 on there. So they branded it differently, but every other suite was the team owners. But I mean, Robert Kraft's suite, we had all the Kardashians there. We had Justin Bieber, we had Hailey Bieber, we had Sierra, we had, you name it, they were there. It was the coolest experience to be a part of. Really big honor.
So you are being trusted with like the most elite humans on the planet.
33 billionaires. So there's 32 teams. The New York Giants is the only team that has two single owners. And that was pretty cool to be a part of.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say my win was Condoleezza Rice personally asking for me to come to her to help get her out of the stadium because I got her in.
How do you get into this space? Is this something you're passionate about? Is this a natural thing for you? Just high quality of life?
I am passionate about. I've found that when I launched my company, my love language and my ROI is seeing other people happy.
Okay.
So we do a lot of nitty gritty, but then we also do a lot of very important things. And for 13 years, I worked for a big business owner that owned over 72 different businesses. And I was his chief of staff and vice president of administration. And I said, it's time to take the tools that you've given me in the education and let me start my own because I want to grow. I want to be big and I want to be an empire. So it's only up from here.
Man, I think the tables are turning here. Hearing that all those accomplishments, I'm impressed by you.
Thank you. It's really
so. So we can hire you and your services and just basically ask for anything that we need, and you guys will figure out how to get it.
Absolutely. We do a great job at intertwining personal life and business life, and a lot of chief executives and business owners and athletes and celebrities, all these people, I mean, they have a lot that's going on your day-to-day, and there's a lot of tedious work and projects that need to be managed, and you just don't have time to do it.
Totally.
And we always say we can always make sure that you have the right Charmin toilet paper in your bathroom or run a strategy session in your boardroom. Everything in between we're capable of.
I love it.
I mean, of course, within code of conduct.
Yeah.
That's what we always have to say for NFL, but gratefully, we've never been asked for the hookers and blow aspect of it. So we're safe.
That's the easy part.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, they can get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's all your shit. That's tough to get.
For sure.
Wow.
Yep.
How long has it been? You said at the beginning of COVID,
so
right?
21. So we just celebrated.
Or the end of COVID.
Middle of COVID.
Or yeah, 21.
Q1.
Yeah.
Q1 in COVID, we launched the company and we just turned 3. So to say that I have the largest entertainment producing organization in the world, because it is world, that we work for, is pretty cool.
So your services can be used anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
I could be traveling to Italy and go, hey, Travis, here's what I need. And you'll figure it out in that country, in whatever city I'm in.
Always. If you can do it in Las Vegas, you can do it anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Anywhere and beyond, because Las Vegas is that city that you actually wanted something 10 minutes before you asked for it. And it's really hard to have relationships in Las Vegas, and it's tough to get into certain places. And if you understand customer service and the quick, expeditious way of doing things, you can do it anywhere. But I'm also I call myself a pit bull stuck in a chihuahua's body.
Okay.
I don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
It's just not in my vocabulary. And when somebody does tell me no, it just
invigorates you to go harder.
Makes me want to work harder for it.
I'm a big believer. I don't take no ever. And I think there's so much tact and finesse in getting the yes. Some people be like, well, I can't just accept, or if I accept the no, if I don't accept the no, then I have to be brash in how I get my yes. And you don't have to at all. I'll just keep asking questions until I figure out why they gave me the no.
Yeah.
And then when I know why they gave me the no, I'll just overcome that. Mm-hmm. And that's all you have to do. Keep asking. Well, why? Why can't you do this? Well, because of this. Okay, well, so if I do this to overcome that, can I then get my yes? And I'm sure you're an expert in that space.
That's exactly what
you can't just bulldog. I hate to say bulldog. You can't just blow through. Otherwise, you'll burn relationships. And if anything, the person giving you a no sinks their heels in and wants to double down on their no.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of finesse and tact to be able to get yeses.
Yeah, Las Vegas is a very, very unique community. I mean, we have over 2 million people that live in our Las Vegas metropolitan area, and we still know everybody. In some form or fashion, we're personally tied to somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and we need to understand that we pride ourselves on relationships. I always say that we're still kind of mob-esque.
Oh, yeah,
scratch my back and I scratch yours.
Yeah.
We're just not going to drop the body at Lake Mead.
Mm-hmm.
But
why did you say Vegas is tough to I think I heard you say relationships, but you kind of just...
I think that Las Vegas, and
in comparison to other cities or something,
kind of, because
really?
I
would think this would be the easiest town for you to conduct your business.
For me now, yes, and that's because of the relationships that I have built. I probably have every single general manager in my Rolodex at every nice restaurant here in Las Vegas, and you just have to make an impression on them. Know that you're trying to do something to send them business and keep happiness between, and it's just kindness. That's all you have to do. Sometimes we're stern, but you still do it in a respectful way.
Sure.
And Las Vegas, up until VGK dropped their first puck, I would say we were a very transient city. And, a lot of that came from the different cultures that came for performing arts in Las Vegas, and they're only here for a year at a time, and then they get sent back from their visas and all these different things. So it's really hard for people to gain momentum and to create a sense of community and a culture. And VGK changed the future of Las Vegas.
100%.
It was just a week after our massacre here in Las Vegas, and it was our heartbeat of Las Vegas. I mean, I didn't like sports at all prior to VGK coming, and now I will bleed for Vegas Golden.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And I know that you guys do too.
Same, man. I didn't even think it'd work. I was like, how the hell is it going to work? I didn't understand hockey so much that I didn't realize there was hockey teams in other desert towns or cities. But I was like, I've never watched hockey ever. And now I actually think hockey is probably the best. It's the best sport to watch live. Do you disagree with that?
I do not disagree.
Okay.
I love it.
There's no better sport to watch live than hockey.
I just got goosebumps thinking about going to a game,
right?
We're right around the corner.
No, like football is boring live, but on TV they do a killer job, showcasing the sport. But live, it's kind of slow. Ball goes out of bounds. They regroup. Hockey, man, you can't take your eye off the rink.
Yeah.
At all times that puck is moving, and there's a chance it'll go in.
Yep.
Yeah, they've done a killer job. I think the Golden Knights were pivotal as well to Vegas. I'm wondering why your lens is the way that it is in comparison to mine. Because are you born here?
I wasn't born here. I moved here 31 years ago, though.
So a long time.
Yeah, so I've been here a long time. However, so I'm openly gay, very proudly married to my husband Bryson for 9 years now. But the LGBT community here, I think, can use a facelift, and we don't have a strong LGBT community. It seems like it's more competitiveness, and
Interesting.
they don't do a well enough of a job supporting one another and our initiatives, and a lot of it is ego driven. And so we've never really felt that safe place within the community. My husband's from Chicago. We're going this weekend, and they do a huge festival in they call it Boys Town. There's at least 20 bars that line up, and they all get along. Everybody's kind to one another, and they're putting together a festival that 500,000 people go to.
Oh my.
There's just concerts, food vendors, the bars move outside, and then they bring local businesses to help support these small businesses that are Chicago driven. And we need stuff like that. And I mean, we just don't.
Yeah, I
So
can't think of anything
that's where
like
I
that.
feel like I've suffered for quite some time. And my husband being from Chicago, he said when he moved to Las Vegas, it was really unique. And when we bought our first house in East Henderson, right outside of Lake Las Vegas, he was a little struck by people pull into their driveway, into their garage, and the garage closes directly behind them.
Yeah.
And in Chicago, his parents own houses, and their next door neighbors have house keys to one of each other's houses. And I'm stopping by to get sugar. Hey, will you let the dog out? Stuff like that. And he's like, that's just what I was used to. But then we moved up to Summerlin 8 years ago, and day one, neighbor walks in.
No way.
Yes, hands us a
good.
basket. You know, we go to the grocery store right there off of Hualapai, and everybody was so kind, and we were like, are we in some Stepford
Right.
Wives, city that, we don't know about? But it was really cool to see that change. And I will always love and live in Las Vegas, because once you leave the lights, it's really tough to not be in Las Vegas and to know everything's open 24/7 here.
We are so special here.
Yeah.
We are. You learn that just going to California.
Yeah.
If you stay up late or at least till the last call, which has been so rare. I mean, I'm referencing years ago. And you want a Gatorade before you go to bed. You can't.
Yeah.
The gas stations are closed. Everything's closed. And not Vegas.
Nope.
Everything's open.
Go to Walmart.
It's so
24/7.
accessible here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the heat, everybody's like, oh, it's so hot. I'm like, in the hot times of the year, I go from my house to my car, both air conditioned, from my car to my office, both air. I'm in the heat for 15, 20 minutes throughout the whole day.
And then if not, you're in the pool.
And if not in the pool or somewhere where it's comfortable and easy to manage.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love
How
Las
funny
Vegas.
that you said when you go to Summerlin. Summerlin's a very special community.
It really is.
I love all the people up there. Obviously love the master plan. It's one of the most thought out master plans in the country.
Yeah.
A fun stat, I think it was like 2020, 2019, 2018. The last time I checked, I'm sure it's still the same. 89138 was the number one search zip code on Zillow.
Wow.
So think how powerful that is. Across the whole country, everybody was looking in that one zip code, and it was Summerlin. That's the peak of Summerlin for those that don't know. And
now it's also 89135, and I have so many friends that are so snobby, and they're like, I will never leave 89138 or 89135.
they're called Summerlin whores.
Yeah, literally. Like,
I'm a Summerlin
You have
whore.
a different zip code? What are
Yeah.
you talking about? Oh, you're on the other side of Hualapai? Oh.
And what's so funny about Vegas is if you're from Summerlin, you're like a Summerlin diehard. And then if you're from Henderson, like McDonald Highlands, Anthem, you're like a Henderson diehard. Like you just, I'm never leaving this side of town. Summerlin's never leaving that side of town. That's just what it is.
I do my best to recruit people up to Summerlin all the time. So in McDonald Highlands going into Anthem, it takes 20 minutes to get to the freeway.
Yeah.
And
At least.
here, we're just a couple of minutes just directly onto the 215.
Yeah. Where 135 or 138?
No, I'm actually 117.
117.
Yeah,
So near the
so-
lakes?
I'm directly across the street from Faith Lutheran High School. So
Piccoli.
Piccoli Ranch.
Yep. Same thing.
And we bought in 2017.
Oh man.
Our backyard is actually had somebody from your team call me a couple months ago. And
Did
like,
they?
hey, you want to sell? And I said, tell Josh 900,000 minimum.
I love hearing that. That means they're out there working.
Absolutely,
That's great.
It was hilarious to see. Oh, Galindo Group Real Estate. Okay, let's see what's going on.
Yeah. No, Piccoli's killer, man. I think the lakes in Piccoli are awesome communities.
It
I
is
think the
beautiful.
lakes is very special because of all the water in there.
Yeah,
And then I think Piccoli's special. It's all of the benefits of Summerlin without paying the quadruple premium.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't think that we'll ever leave Summerlin. it's definitely our home now, and everybody that's near and dear to us for the most part is there.
Is up
And
there.
we had the biggest challenge because Uber wouldn't drive all the way out to East Henderson, or even taxis
Wow. Yeah.
for the longest time. And we would make our way to the strip, and sometimes, no joke, when we say, hey, we're right outside of Lake Las Vegas, they'll pull over and kick us out of the car. We're not driving you that far.
They're like,
because they're
no.
not going to get business coming back.
On the way back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were at a huge disservice. Bryson hated being in East Henderson. He truly calls it Hendertucky.
Yeah.
And because we were over the hump at Boulder Highway, and you see a little bit of sketch. But I'm from the hood too, and Bryson really isn't. So stuff like that never bothers me or does. But I could see where he was
You didn't like
a
it.
little hesitant. but also everybody we associated with is up here in Summerlin.
Does he help you with the business?
Occasionally. So he's a big leader in human resources for a healthcare company based out of Laguna Beach. But so he helps me with HR stuff here and there.
Okay.
And he helps advise me on things that I need to do and how I stay out of the gray areas. He's a huge football geek. I mean, I lose him from August when college football starts because he went to University of Iowa
Yeah.
all the way through Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
That happens.
yeah, he's for the last 2 years he's been at Super Bowl, but more as a spectator. But I agreed with your statement a little bit ago. First time I went to a Super Bowl as a spectator, I was like, this is better watched on TV
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
because it's made for TV.
It is. They've crushed it. They've
Yeah.
crushed it with TV.
Yep.
I make the same jokes. You know why the real estate market, not jokes, assessment, slows down in the winter is because football starts. And then daylight savings kicks in.
Yeah.
So you want to go show houses on, Monday after work? Ooh, I can't.
black.
Sorry, Monday night football.
Oh yeah.
And plus, and then you have to deal with the black too. You're right, the night. Okay, what about Tuesday? Oh gosh, I stayed up late on Monday. I had a few drinks. I'm recovering Tuesday. Okay, Wednesday I can go. Okay, great. Yes, now we're out looking on a Wednesday. Hey, Thursday, can we go look at homes? I can't. My football, Thursday night football. Okay, Friday. Oh, I'm out with the kids. Saturday. Okay, how about Saturday? Nope, college. I got to watch my college games.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Sunday? Nope, got to watch my Sunday. What about Sunday night? Nope, Sunday night football. Like it turns off the country. It really does.
Yep.
And that's why I always think that the economy just gets roaring as it gets closer to summer because football ends.
Yeah.
It steals America.
I just wish it didn't get dark. It's already starting.
I know.
We go to the gym at about 5:15 every morning, and last week it was still you see the sun rising, and now you don't see the sun even peeking up that early.
I don't wake up
Just
that
know
early.
that we're on the way to darkness.
Do you have to use an alarm or do you pop up?
Well, interestingly,
What kind of
enough,
guy is Travis?
I used to be the person that you have to drag me out of bed. Hate getting up. I'm such a sleeper. I love sleep. It's my favorite hobby that I'll ever have. But recently we bought something called 8 Sleep.
Okay.
It's a mattress pad that is connected to a device that you fill with water,
Yeah.
and it runs water through your entire mattress pad. And I can reduce the temperature all the way down to 55 degrees if I want. And I'm such a hot sleeper. It has changed me. I'm sleeping the best at night. And it also has this vibrating alarm feature that will wake you up and do it like very subtly.
Calmly,
But
sure.
if you don't wake up, it's like just really blasting
Start
you.
vibrating out of bed.
And Bryson's he's already cold at night, so then you can warm it up, but then you can change a setting that at 5 o'clock in the morning when you wake up, you could make it like 80 degrees under your sheets, and you're not staying in those sheets that
No.
hot. And so I've made it a little bit warmer, so I just shoot right out of bed. And
Is it a big bulky box that has to sit on the side of the bed?
it looks like a almost like a computer tower,
Got it.
but low, and it's gray and black and just very sleek.
What is it called?
8 Sleep.
8 Sleep.
Yep, I'll send you info on it because
Can you control the two sides? Or is it?
both sides are separate?
No way.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
is a
pretty
must for
kick-ass.
me.
I have, I think, 3 friends in the last week that have pulled the trigger to buy it.
I bet.
I said I should have been an affiliate.
Yeah. All you have to do is describe what you just did.
Oh,
yeah. Well
man.
said.
It's been, and then every morning you get this notification of this is how you slept last night. This is what your heart rate was. This is your, how many breaths you were taking per minute. This is how long you were in REM sleep. This is how long you're in deep sleep. And if you snore, this is how long you snored.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just a report that comes in every day. And then it'll say, we adjusted your temperature based off of this to try to help you get deeper sleep. So it's
Jeez.
just a computer system.
Need an affiliate code.
I honestly, I should have. Hey, 8 Sleep.
So what's next? So what's next with your business? Are you happy with the growth? Are you in, I just pushed through a bunch of growth and now I'm stabilizing. I want more growth. Where do you think you're at?
I found myself complacent for a little bit and very comfortable. And
Was it doing well, profitable?
we were doing well and we were steady, but I was just okay with where we were rather than focusing on business development and growth. And in April, end of April, I lost a pretty big client, and they said that they weren't doing well financially. And unfortunately, you know, consultants and vendors get cut first.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the type of person that will immediately renegotiate and just try to save this. And I was just shocked by it because I've never been fired. I've never been laid off, any of these different things, that I just choked up and I was like, okay, thank you so much. But at that time I was like, crap, what did I just do? You know, and I wasn't looking at business development and growth for the future. So shout out to CEO Tribe. I had to go with an opportunity and I was just devastated during this day. And we get to put opportunities and challenges that we have. And then I get to sit around 14 other kick-ass CEOs and people that have either had challenges or having challenges or also done things and been through things that we're currently going through.
Sure.
And to hear their perspectives was huge. And to hear their feedback and advice, that's something you can never get back.
What were some of the things that you took away from that? Sitting over here, I'm wondering, okay, negotiate would have meant I'm going to lower my price.
Correct.
I don't want to do that. I feel that my service is worth what I'm charging. So you let them go. But I'm also wondering what else, and maybe that wasn't even a factor, but that's what I thought I thought that's what I heard when you went there first, but as you continued, it kind of opened up more. So what was the takeaway there?
The takeaway there,
give us a nugget.
The takeaway there was that you should never be comfortable in your business and you should never feel like things are great.
Yeah.
Because something can flip and change every single day, just like you in real estate.
Oh my
gosh. The market
gosh.
could crash tomorrow
Yeah.
or the next day, and then you have tons of homes and you have tons of inventory and people that are trying to sell that you can't help them at that moment. And that's what I felt, that pressure. And one of our tribe members goes, "You're going to be fine. I have $1.4 million in outstanding AR." And I was like, okay, that's a little bit larger than where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I had made a lot of business decisions. I had hired my first assistant and it's been life-changing for me, but I didn't want to cut back on some of the things that we had and that we were doing and moving forward with in the future. So I said, I've got to do this. So I relooked at our pricing structure because of the CEO Tribe. They challenged me to really focus directly on what our bread and butter is. But your mom gave me one of the best questions is, and she asked everybody, when's the last time that you've gone to your customer and said, how are things going right, but what's going wrong? And how can I be of service to you to improve? And we don't often do that.
No.
Hey, what's wrong? Because naturally within my industry, we're fixers. You know, somebody calls me and says, shit, I accidentally booked SW Steakhouse for next Friday and I'm here right now. Do you know anybody? Yeah, I'll call Anthony right now.
Right.
Hey, can you guys get him in? And I like to fix and want to do things. And that was a huge miss for me, where I can reach out and become more personal with our clients and say, what's going right in your life? What's going wrong? And how can I help you take some of these things off of your plate? Because at the end of the day, Josh Galindo, Crystal Galindo, you guys have so much going on. You guys have children that are in sports that are just completely taking your life away from you.
100%.
And you don't have any time for yourself. So you need people like that in the background to help you lift and to get things done.
Yeah.
And anymore, I think within our culture, we try not to make people's problems our problems, and we need to do a better job at being supportive in that way.
Man, I almost want you to because that's such a good clip. That's what I'm paying attention to too. That's what I'm trying to get. Like if I'm pausing, it's because I'm waiting for to leave room for a clip, and I can pick up the ones that are clip worthy.
Love it.
But I want you to. I want you to almost repeat that, and you can just leave this in there. I want you to repeat what you just said there, because so many people, but you word it in the way you just did. So many people don't want to make their problems other people's problems, but that bottlenecks happiness, growth, so many things. It's almost you're an advocate for allowing your problems to become somebody else's problem And that's the service that you offer.
100%.
Try to hit me with that again.
So allowing other people's problems to become our problems, and for you to actually show genuine caring, relationship, advice, but also being able to be there and help move anything that they need. And it could be personal life, business life, for them to see that they could trust you and trust you as a confidant and somebody that's in their corner is huge. And naturally, as a CEO, me looking back at myself every single day, I know that I'm alpha, and I know that I hate asking for help, and I hate failing, and I hate knowing that I need to rely on people. But then sitting back and hitting that gulp and saying, you need people, and you need people to become more successful, and you need people to help you pick that up. That was a life lesson for myself.
Sure.
That was just last year that I sat back saying, wow, this is a little nugget that I've been offering and that I offer to people, but I never take it back on my own side. And so often anymore, we have people that have challenges or, within the business, personal life, and we don't ask them how they're doing or what can we do to be of support to them. And that's where we lose out. We lose out on that relationship, on that personalization, on, being able to be a greater friend in the business, outside of the business, and we could do better.
So how does your service work? Because you're really educating me on your service more in depth. Like, is it a monthly subscription and then we can just call in? Like, because that SW crisis that you just described,
yeah,
is that guy on a retainer with you? Or does he pay you for hooking him up and fixing his problem in the moment? Do you send him a Venmo request? Like, tell me how does...
So no Venmo requests. I typically only work with business leaders, corporations, and other like-minded individuals on a recurring retainer. So we offer two different products. We offer a 10-hour product, a 20-hour product, and then we also offer a by-the-hour product.
Okay.
Because some people will just blow through that super easy.
Sure.
And also they don't care. So of course, if you're just by the hour, I can't look at the forward projections of revenue. But if you're looking at the hourly packages that we offer, we know what's going to be incoming for that month.
Right.
But there are people that believe in our product so much that they say, I'll pay the highest rate. And the more...
Because the highest rate is the per hour.
Correct.
Got it.
And then...
How much would the per hour be?
$165 an hour for us. And then it goes all the way down. If you have 20 hours a month with us, it goes to $85 an hour. So, I mean, that's
this
quite
is a great business.
Quite a savings there. And then in between for the 10 hours that you have.
So give me some extreme requests that I can make now that I know your pricing. Because let's say, okay, hold on. So you said it goes down to $80 an hour for the 10-hour package?
$85 an hour for the 20-hour package. So the more hours that you buy.
20 hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
20 hours a month, I'll give you.
What is that, $1,700 a month?
Yep. I think 18.
Let's call it 18.
Yep.
Whatever the number is. Okay, so I write you a check every month. We're on it. We have an agreement. How long's the agreement? What do you ask for? Any kind of commitment?
I try to do a 6-month.
Okay.
But I also will, depending on the relationship and my trust factor within the client that I work with, and that all becomes our relationship, I will go down to a 3-month contract.
Okay.
But I also
so
look
I'm
for a
in for
12 month.
$1,800 a month.
Yeah.
I got to know what I can ask for.
I mean, you name it.
Because you could be a game changer for me.
You name it.
You really think so? You name it?
I promise. And the cool thing about us,
Travis, I just fucking woke up. My car registration is past due. I need you to find me a guy that can get down there, sit in line for 4 hours, and register my car.
I know people at the DMV and that have services that will get
the
me
fuck
in
outta
and out
here.
in 2 hours. Yes, it's the relationships. It's the making sure that you treat people.
You're
kindly.
I'm baffled by it. I'm like loving this. You're on call too. I can just call anytime.
Yeah,
Your service, maybe not Travis, but the company.
So somebody like you, I'd make work directly with me, and then depending on the severity of what needs to be done, then I'll have somebody from my team manage that aspect of it. But it's because I like to have a personal touch with the people that mean something to me, and your family means a lot to me, and just the relationship. So I'd be answering the phone for Josh and Crystal all the time. I have a client that was former client. I just let them go, but that was cool to.
I bet very empowering
to feel that.
Good for you.
I didn't need them.
Yeah.
But I had a client that was going to Formula One in London, and he also went to Wimbledon. And when I tell you, it was a disaster. An absolute disaster. All the logistics. I spent $30,000 a ticket for him to go, for him and his son from the States. They hadn't sent the tickets prior to him even departing on his flight. to get there. And
Oh.
I was waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, Las Vegas time, on my 4th of July to make sure that he was taken care of. But this individual treated me so poorly and was so disrespectful that when I came back post trip, I said, bro, I just can't accept that sort of behavior. And if he would have come back and said, look, man, I'm really sorry. I was just frustrated.
Right.
We're all human.
Yep.
I didn't mean to treat you that way. But he stood ground and felt that it was the need to blame me for the mishaps that two of the large sponsorship companies within Formula One, which I won't name in case they ever want to work with me, but two of the companies, they just dropped the ball and just made it really tough for me and for the client's enjoyment.
Did you pull it off?
Pulled it off
Okay.
as far as we could, but then there are particularities, but also Silverstone Classic in London. I mean, you can't get a car service all the way up to the stadium and where the track is. And it just made it, you're in Europe. It's a European product, and people from the States don't understand how things operate there. And I knew everything that we could know, but when you're not there, it's tough.
The logistics that you're having to deal with.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought of that.
I mean, car services, planes, VIP arrival services, hotel accommodations, getting them transfers from Wimbledon to Formula One, which is an hour and a half north. Planes, trains, automobiles, we did it. The only thing we didn't do was a yacht.
And I can take this service anywhere with me.
Anywhere.
That's what I'm loving.
I have
It
clients.
follows me around. I
Yeah.
could go out of town and go, hey man, I need you to pull me a favor, get me a restaurant
100%. I mean, people call me because I don't take that no for an answer. And
here. What a cool business.
I'm going out of town on Friday, and we're going to a Italian restaurant at St. Regis in Chicago called Tredita. And they only open reservations up 7 days in advance.
Okay.
I was up at midnight to make that reservation, and it was impossible. So that made me know that they had all the reservations held in a different format. And I just went around my own way and how I did and booked a reservation for 8 people in this highly exclusive restaurant for
Right.
Friday evening in one of the most beautiful settings, and you're just going to see downtown Chicago. But it's just
So Vegas is easy for you now.
Vegas is easy.
Okay. Because that's where I'd use the service the most.
Oh, you got it.
You have, I don't want to say you have to. Maybe I just haven't been exposed to it. But it seems like such a no-brainer service.
Yeah.
Very reasonable, honestly. For what you're describing, you're capable of pulling off. Yeah.
And also in 21, when we decided to launch the firm, that's when we were starting to see a lot of layoffs, and layoffs are still happening within corporations. So typically when you see a layoff, you're going to see admin staff cut first. You're going to see all these things. So we have business leaders here that are like, shit, how do I book
Now I
my
don't
own
have an
flights?
assistant.
How
Oh.
do I do all these things? Guess what?
God, you just changed my whole life,
Call
actually.
Lux Lifestyle Managers.
Bro, Lux Lifestyle Managers. I just thought, I always say without my wife, without my assistant, I have so many people around me that help me be who I am. But I could just tap into you at the worst case scenario.
And a lot of business leaders, while we have personal relationships, they say, hey, work with my assistant.
Yeah.
There are
You
a
will
lot-
never work with me.
There are a lot of things that assistants need assistance with.
Yep.
Because they only have 2 hands. I would know that we all wish we had 8 octopus hands, but we don't.
Yeah.
And it just makes it valuable. And then we also do a great job with maintaining that relationship to where I'm able to go and rub elbows with Josh and go to a game with Josh or go to a party,
Totally.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because my team's in the background making sure that everything else is set.
Man, so freaking cool.
That's great.
So if I wanted to sign up for that and say, hey, I need a driver to the Knights games, my van, you'll coordinate that.
Yep.
Now I pay all the hard costs, right?
Yep.
So the service is you coordinating. It just happens.
Yep.
And then you said, now do you, I'm out of curiosity to learn about your business. Do you absorb the hard costs associated and then bill that to me? Or do you have my card on file?
So we typically keep a card on file,
Okay.
but then there are some people that say, hey, I carry a wad of cash. I'd rather just pay, by cash and then tip by cash, which is just fine too.
So they'll just say, I'll take care of it. You
Yeah.
just coordinate it.
Yep. And we don't mind that at all. And every relationship that we have with all of our vendors that are here in Las Vegas, they understand the product and they understand exactly what we're doing. I make all of our drivers go through a background check with me. Any of my liaisons that work directly with me and experience managers, we put them through like the pseudo butler training program to make sure that they know exactly what people are wanting. And you kind of start learning premeditation of what people are asking for. Because like I said earlier, as you grow larger and become more important and more successful, you actually wanted something 10 minutes before you asked for it.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
we've started doing that. And I was so honored to work for a gentleman that was so particular and so hard on me. He gave me the thickest skin. It's almost like a
Probably
old,
taught you a lot
old
there, huh?
cocktail waitress that's, tanned her skin for life and you
Yeah.
can bounce anything off of her.
Right.
And nothing really bothers me anymore. I just think of code of conduct, but also core values and kindness.
So I love that. So if I say I'm going to, I got a box at the Knights game, I'm taking 5 of my best agents. The servers are kind of iffy there. They bounce in and out of the room. Can you hook me up with like a liaison or in between person that I can ask? Like, can you send a butler? I don't know if that's the right word, but will you send a butler with me where I can ask that person to go out and grab the server, bring us back whatever we want? Yep. I could just request that.
Yeah, you just literally tell me, or the way that we do it, and
like I'm envisioning like where I could use a service, and I'm asking. But I also want the viewers to know all of the things you're capable of.
A lot of times that happens. Hey, we just want somebody extra to be there so we can focus on networking and focusing on building that current relationship that we have, but also so they can see me eye to eye and where I'm not stressed out. So we'll say, absolutely, Josh, get Tiffany a ticket. That's in a row ahead of you or behind you or something like that. And you just say, hey, Tiff, go grab us a couple beers.
Oh, my goodness.
Stuff like that. And it's enjoyable in both aspects.
This is the coolest service ever.
We'll do it.
I love it.
We'll do it. We just won't bury anybody.
Bayan, what would you ask for? You don't know? It is so awesome. Wow, so cool. So what are you doing to promote it? How do people learn about you?
Well, not to...
Is it a lot of word of mouth? How many clients do you have?
So we have about 33 recurring clients that we work with.
And I'm sure a whole lot that tap into you, huh?
Yeah, and they ask us to do things for even people within their families. We've actually started doing a little bit of family office work where we help manage an entire family where they've brought success in, and we help with, the parents, 2 different sets of, siblings that are all grown now and have their own families. And we understand the relationship, but also their personalities and particularities that we're just able to get things done for the families.
Travis, could I ask you for a babysitter?
Absolutely. And the babysitters that we work with, we do background checks on and make sure that they are legitimate and they're not going to be assholes to your kids and, give them candy or things that they're not supposed to have when it's...
House is clean when we come home, not destroyed.
I have housekeepers that, are everybody that I work with, I would bring into my home.
Okay.
Because if I trust them in my home, I know that I will trust them with somebody else because I'm a brat. And I'm very particular myself. And if I would be unhappy with the service, it's not a service I would offer for you.
This is unbelievable. I will have to put you in touch with my wife because she'll be the one that makes that call. But man, we could use this service
in a
lot of aspects of our life.
It's been really cool.
But I am curious. Do you have are there challenges that present itself considering that's...
No, I don't face challenges, but it's because I'm openly, authentically myself. And if somebody does not like me for me or who I am or my lifestyle, that's not a problem with me. That's a problem with you.
100%.
And what people don't understand is what happens behind your closed doors in your bedroom is nobody's business but yours and your spouse's and your significant other.
Sure.
And none of that should ever impact the way that you feel about somebody and what they do. Have I been discriminated against in the business? Absolutely. Not since I've launched my own company.
Good.
But back when I was in the corporate world, there was still a lot of struggles. Even when I came out of the closet, I was terrified to come out of the closet.
How open are you about talking about it?
I'm very open.
Is it an age? Because to me, I feel like people, just like I was born to find a female attractive. That was just, you couldn't pay me enough. There's nothing you could do to get me to find a man's body sexually attractive.
Yeah.
And so I understand through the lens of a gay man that is the way they're programmed.
Yeah.
So is that how is that the same journey that maybe you took? I don't want to speak for everybody, but you understood how that was the case?
I think so. So I was raised in a very different family lifestyle. I was raised in poverty. Both of my parents didn't really do well for themselves and they struggled from addiction. And I knew when I was 4 years old that I was different.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell if a lot of it was because my parents divorced the year that I was born. and my dad got custody of me, so I was longing for that maternal relationship.
Sure.
So I more so gravitated towards the girls, and I would want to play Barbies with the girls and dress up and all these different things.
Fair.
So
I see what you're
I
saying.
knew then that I was a little bit different. I gave two shits about, the GI Joes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't know then if it was because I was looking for a maternal figure or if it because I was actually different. And while I was growing up as well, my father always said, if any of my children ever grew up to be with a person of color or become gay,
Yeah.
but he used other terms, he said, I'll disown you.
Oh, so I had to make that super hard for
sat
you.
back in my mind. And
My heart hurts for you just hearing you
thanks.
say that. It really
It's,
does.
But it's okay. It taught me to be more compassionate and loving and love other people,
Yeah.
and to know that everybody is different and we should accept everybody for their differences. I don't care what religion you are, what political stance you have, who you like in your bedroom.
Same
That's
way.
your business.
Right. I don't give a fuck either.
It's okay. But it set me back. I've actually dated more women than I have men. And I almost proposed to a girl, which thank goodness I didn't.
Right.
I decided to become my authentic self at age 21.
Okay.
And just, open that closet door and say, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here and I'm queer.
Right.
But it's been very freeing, and discrimination still happens every single day. But for every walk of life, it's just we need to stay out of other people's, bullshit.
I'll tell you, you're gonna laugh at me, but we haven't gotten to hang out much. But I get along with gay guys so well. Like, I have a doppelganger at the gym. He looks just like me, but so shredded. I always say gay guys are super ripped and rich.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know how, but they always got great bodies, and they always got money.
Yeah.
Anyway, if he ever watches this, he'll laugh, but he knows who he is. But he's like so flirtatious at the gym, in the locker room, but he's cool.
Yeah.
And he knows, and for me, it never riles me up. I'm like, I think he's cool. I love him. Now, if it went a step further, I'd probably be like, hey, like, that's not, but I've never had that happen. My mom was very welcoming of same-sex marriages, relationships, from me being very young. Like, I saw it around me.
Yeah.
And I never thought it, because the folks that she would bring around, the relationships that I witnessed, was that they were two completely normal human beings.
Yeah.
They just chose to love the same sex.
Yeah.
They were never like the real flamboyant or outrageous or like, oh my gosh, shock value versions. And that's who the guy at the gym is. He's just a funny guy, but he's not wildly flamboyant, and he gets dressed up and he goes to work.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of fun hanging out with gay guys and they love me.
What's great about it is you turn into some of their best friends,
Mm-hmm.
our best friends. We have a lot of heterosexual couples that we spend a lot of our time
I'm sure.
with.
Yeah.
And there's a safety mechanism there as well, because we establish a best friendship with, the gentleman and then also their wife. And we become that second protector for their wife. And listen, we don't put up with shit. We don't put up with any man gawking at women. We believe in women's rights. We believe that they should be respected. We believe that courting should still exist. I mean, we have straight friends that even when Bryson and I go out with our wives, we get out and open the doors for the ladies.
Hell yeah.
That's how ladies should
Hell
be
yeah,
treated.
that's right.
But then you also know, like, oh gosh, Crystal's out with Travis. She's fine.
Oh yeah.
Everything's gonna be great. But he will protect her before he protects himself.
That's a beautiful
And they're not
thing.
gonna hit on her.
Right. Yeah.
if anything, they're gonna say, "Girl, you look good today,"
Right.
and leave it at that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Thanks for sharing that, man.
Of course.
Do you talk with your dad now?
Ish.
Yeah.
My dad fell ill just 2 years ago, and both of my parents actually within the last 4 years fell pretty ill, and I credit a lot of that to their alcoholism and their addictions that they've faced with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been very hard for me to compartmentalize that and also be there for them, because
Sure.
there's a lot of my life that they weren't there for me.
Mhm.
And, my dad was partying a lot when I was an infant. So, I'm like, why do you expect me to change your diaper when you didn't change mine?
Ooh.
And it's been really, really hard. And I get a lot of that guilt in people within the family that don't know, what has happened to me and what I've been through.
Yeah.
They don't understand that healthy boundary that I've created. But
Yeah.
at this point in life, yes, you're my parent. You're always going to mean something to me, but you're not my priority.
No.
my husband's my priority
Yeah.
and my family's my priority.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be there, but I'm not supposed to be your caretaker. And
No.
I'm not here to open the bank of Turner to take care of you.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Right.
We're always
Yeah, that
asked
part too.
from family members that aren't really doing well, like, open that bank. You know,
Yeah.
you guys can always help us. And we get asked that all the time.
They don't realize it, but you're helping them by hopefully saying no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very,
You say
very,
yes one time,
Yeah.
or what I've heard is say yes one time. No, they're not going to pay it back, and then that way you have an excuse every single time after that.
Yep.
You didn't pay me back the first time.
We actually have a strict rule. We do not lend money at all to family.
I don't lend money to anybody
At all.
I don't lend money to anybody unless it's backed by an asset and I have an interest rate
Yeah.
component attached to it, meaning AKA business.
Yeah.
You know, just it's either I give money away to like my sister or my mom. Not that either of them need it, but that would be the only terms. It wouldn't be lending.
Yeah. It's like a
'Cause-
gift, you know, it's my honor
it's a
to do
gift.
something.
Yes,
You're
I'm
not
so
asking
grateful
me
to
for
be able
it.
to do this for
Yeah.
you. My dad left when I was young. Did you know? I don't know if my mom ever told you that.
Not she just said that he wasn't present.
Yeah. Oh, like not present, like zero. You know, a lot of guys, they were their dads left, but they came back for their birthday party. They came back for Christmas. They had him on the weekends. Dad left, and I didn't re-meet him. I guess he left when I was 1, so I don't know if re-meet's the term, but until I was like 25.
Wow.
And you want to talk about like creating some issues, you know, but issues I think are created. My wife, great example. She was raised in a beautiful household, incredible parents. They did an incredible job, middle class, 4 brothers, 4 siblings. And they have issues, you know, perfect household and they have issues.
Yeah.
And you know what some of their issues are is that it was too perfect and too easy.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm like, I don't think you escape the issue box.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how you come out the other side, it leaves a scar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of daddy stuff until I went to like a school in Mexico. I won't bore you with the whole story, and had to work out a lot of those issues.
Jeez.
But yeah,
That's great. I always I have family that has been to boarding school in Mexico, and I just say that they're on a mission.
yeah.
Out building houses and churches.
Do-
That's it.
Do you think that upbringing was a big contributor to your ambition?
Absolutely. Being
100%.
being raised in a less fortunate setting and poverty, and to see a lot of the experiences that I was given makes me know that I will never go backwards, and makes me work harder every single day. And my husband says to me like, "Hey, when's enough going to be enough?" And I'm like, until you've walked in my shoes and seen the circumstances that I've lived in, it's not going to be enough, because I refuse to ever take a step backwards. I always want to be able to provide for you and our family, and I don't ever want to feel like we're going to be without. So I'm that type of person that if I want something nice, I get it. I mean, I just buy it. I'm the hardest person to buy gifts for, because I buy what I want
Yeah, me
and
too.
whenever I want it.
Yeah.
And Bryson comes, just like Crystal, from a very, very loving family, middle-class family as well. His dad was a retired detective. His mom's a retired school teacher. They're the most incredible family. Yes, there's dysfunction, but he didn't understand because he never struggled. You know, they paid for him to be able to go to school, but then they also set boundaries.
Mhm.
Hey, you can go to school, but then you also need to get a job at school.
Yep.
So you can pay for your books and then pay for your extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
You want to go out to eat, stuff like this. We'll put money in your books at the food hall, but that's where you eat. If you want to go to Applebee's, you pay for that on your own.
That's on you.
So he really, really ingrained within himself that, you know, responsibility was huge. But
Yeah.
for me, oh my gosh, I'm terrified to fail. And I'm learning that failure is actually okay as long as you don't repeat the mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's also a part of growth and a part of being a
100%.
leader. You know, we all make mistakes every single day. And it's just sitting back and self-reflecting that and say, how do I do better and be better?
Yeah. That's a great definition of failure.
Sure.
No argument.
Yeah.
I mean, every step I've taken forward has come from failing at one point, and then I knew how to be better. You fail enough times in life, you just get better at life. You learn how to dodge the punches. You can just avoid them. I've seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know, I've seen that one. You know, that's life.
We have a couple of friends that over the past year of, you know, their relationships and marriages have ended. And it's so hard for me to ingest and understand, because as you evolve in a marriage, you're supposed to grow,
Sure.
and you're supposed to
That's really important that you say that.
go
Yeah.
through challenges together, but also learn how to communicate in a better, more effective way. And it's just like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you so self-serving about yourself instead of sitting back? And realizing that, yeah, there could be a problem there, but you're also contributing negatively. What can you do to help change this entire scenario? And they don't do that.
Something I heard around marriage was, oh, you've changed. You're just not the same. It's like, yeah, that's the goal. Like, I don't want to be married to Crystal that I met on day one. And I don't think Crystal wants to be married to the Josh that she met on day one.
Yeah.
The game plan is to continuously grow together.
Yeah.
The whole journey is the two of you growing in sync. And that's where I think all of that beauty comes from.
100%.
Day one to today, there's just such a rich connection that takes place with that growth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of couples out there that don't embrace that kind of growth, and then almost discourage it in their partner. If their partner tries to improve themselves, they pull them back down because they don't want to improve themselves and they don't want to be with someone that's improved themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a drag versus a support, pull me up,
Yeah.
a support, pull me up. And so that was a nice little nugget to touch on.
It really is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you want to pepper me with anything?
Yes.
Hit me.
Hit you. So did you get into real estate because of your mom's history and success in the real estate industry? Or was this something that you because, look at Galindo Group.
Mm-hmm.
You guys own an entire building now. You guys have the most beautiful LED screens outside that you're able to just help people broadcast and socialize their companies and just really get that word out there. You have a media company now, which I use. It's pretty incredible team.
Good. Very happy to hear that.
How did you start, and what is in your future?
So, how did I start? So I was a high school dropout. Wasn't like I was a troubled teen, then came back, was a good teen, then got myself into some trouble and just said, school's just not for me. But I always relied heavily on my ability to figure it out. I was always able to figure anything out, that whatever situation I was in. So I knew I'd figure out life without formal education. So I didn't go to college. And I was working at the Mirage as a lifeguard. My mom had taught me a lot of really powerful nuggets. I think I learned a lot of life from my mom that served me better than any school could have. One of the things that she said was either be in the number one or be in the top three. And so I took that with every job that I had. Like, I was the best employee ever. I even say today I'd be the world's greatest assistant. I would.
We're hiring. I'm just kidding.
Man, I'd have oatmeal at your door at 6 a.m., just hand it to you and close the door for you.
Yeah.
Don't even talk to me. I get it. Here's your oatmeal and coffee. I would be so good. But anyway, so I moved up at the Mirage from lifeguard to cabana host to pool attendant to cabana host, then to valet. And to me, at like 22, valet, I'm making like, I don't know, 45 grand a year, but it was a lot of money for me at that time and the age that I was. And I was always fascinated with making money, and I always enjoyed making money. I was, coloring pictures, stapling them together at Safekey, and then selling them to the parent when they came to get their kid. Shoe shining business, rollerblade around the neighborhood, drop off flyers. I'd always sell the most raffle tickets for the football team. I just loved business, and I loved making money. Anyway, so I'm working at the Mirage, and my mom what's so special about my mom is she saw, okay, my son is now in that system. And what is that system? The system is that he's making $45,000 a year. He'll make $45,000 a year the rest of his life until he's 60, adjusted for inflation. And she understood that. And that's really that gig. You know what I'm saying? And there's not like, unless you promote into the company, but if whatever you're doing at that time, if that's what you do. And I was working next to guys that had been at the Mirage since it was open.
Yeah.
And they'd start there when they were 25 and they were, 55. I don't even know how old they were, but maybe even older. But so she comes in, so my car breaks down. I just bought a new home, car breaks down, and it was a brand new Audi. It shouldn't have broken down. It ended up being a lemon. But, and so she's driving me down to the Mirage. So she has to stop by her buddy, Joe Kennedy's office, who was one of her clients at the time and good friend. And she just looks at Joe, throws Joe way off and goes, "You'd hire my son, wouldn't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course," And I think it was a very friendly response.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And then me being a young, overly confident, partly arrogant, probably young man, Oh, I don't, I got it going on, man. I work valet at the Mirage. That was when it was like a cool thing to really say. It's still a reasonably cool thing to say. But at the time, it was like you had the gig.
Yeah.
I work valet at the Mirage. And then, and I just bought my first house. And, the only reason I'm with my mom is because my brand new Audi broke down and da-da-da. He goes, well, the guy I hired last year made $1 million. And I was like, holy shit. And I got to tell you, Travis, I didn't know $1 million could be made in a year. Like, think how tight those blinders were on me. I did not realize a human being can make $1 million in a year. And so what was funny is I took him at his word, and I went and got my real estate license, and I'm working down at on New Year's Eve. And they blocked the strip off. You shouldn't even have to have valet.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the entrance of the property, and just people walking by, enjoying themselves. And I'm like, why am I here? And so I passed the exam at that point. So finally, I made the commitment, I guess, in myself, and I said, that's it. And I remember I turned around, I walked all the way up that long ass driveway, said, hey guys, I quit. Appreciate everything, but I quit. Went right to the locker room, changed, never went back and got my check. Went to Joe Kennedy's office a day later and said, I got my real estate license. I'm ready for you to hire me. And he's like, what? Like, he didn't have agents. He wasn't like a brokerage. He was like a real estate investor. Anyway, he wanted to interview me. I had ended up having to use the Better Business Bureau to fight my Audi case. And I remember I was on the phone complaining to whoever it was at Volkswagen who owned Audi. And she's like, you know how many calls I get like this a year? And I'm like, I'm going to fucking win this. I'm going to fucking win this. And you never forget me. I go, what's your name? And I wrote her name down in all my paperwork that I was keeping track of. And I fought these fucking guys forever. Finally, I get a mediation meeting, and I win. Long story short, I kept that fucking lady's phone number. I called her back, and I go, remember me? She goes, yeah. I go, I just fucking won. Anyway, so I had that whole package.
Zing.
Yeah, exactly. And the great thing was they took the car back and wrote me a check for like $10,000 from all the payments and money I'd put into it. And it was a limit. Anyway, so I had that accomplishment that I could take, and I took it to Joe. And as funny as it is, now that I've accomplished so much more, I was like, I beat Volkswagen of America, Joe. I'm the guy to hire. And that was how I got into real estate in a nutshell.
Wow.
Now, fast forward, what they taught me was how to understand a piece of real estate and inject time, energy, and effort into improving that piece of real estate, and then selling it, and then being rewarded for that time, energy, and effort in the form of profit.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference, and I break it down that way because there's a lot of people that are great at selling real estate. That's just selling you this book. To me, I'm great at buying this book when it had half the pages, filling it with the other half of pages, dyeing the hardback, slapping the word Louis Vuitton on it, and then selling it for more than what I paid for it. So there's two different types of real estate that a lot of people conduct. Some are in sales, some are in investing. But by learning investing, I think by default, it made me a great business person. And what I will own confidently today is that I believe I'm a great operator. I'm a great business person. People will often confuse that I'm a salesperson, but I'm not a salesperson. I think salespeople are skilled people that have a certain set of skills that they know how to implement in a sales environment.
Yeah.
But because I'm naturally energetic and enthusiastic and excited about stuff I'm talking about, that's perceived as sales, but it's not. But I can be persuasive, but it's generally on something I genuinely believe in. But so I got into the house flipping business after the commercial real estate market crashed, and I bought my first house in 2008. Everything that could go wrong with it went wrong.
Yep.
I bought it with a buddy of mine who was growing weed, who had saved enough money to give me a few bucks, a trust fund kid, and like the last 20 grand I had. We bought it. Everything went wrong. Then we go to sell it. It appraises for exactly what we're into it for. So we did all the work and we just get our money back. And I remember we had to have like a group meeting. It was the three of us on my balcony at my old house in Mountain's Edge. And we're like, we can order another appraisal or we can just get our money back. The appraisal was $400. So we're like looking at three guys. It's like, it's $400 divided by three.
Yeah, let's do it.
But we had to have like a formal meeting to like, and we did. And then it appraised for what we believed it was actually worth. And we made like, I don't know, $30,000 on a $300,000 house, AKA 10%. And I was always taught if you can earn 20%, 10% on your money, 20% of your money a year is best, because after every 5 years you double your money. Then that's a good business model. And so I dove right into house flipping, and then house flipping bled into agents. It bled into my rental business. It bled into other business I'd started, like a consulting business where I would renovate your home for you instead of actually being a flipper. And then I was just, what I know that has served me so well in my career is mentorship.
Yeah.
So many people, nobody's ever given me $1, and there's a big misunderstanding there. A lot of people believe mentorship is, it's about who you know kind of thing. And it's like, where you're missing the nugget in who you know isn't that you get to milk them for what they have. It's that you have the luxury and opportunity to observe them conduct their lives on a daily basis. That in itself is the value, just the observation. Like, I get to watch how this guy rolls every day, and then I can take the things that I think would benefit me and apply them to my life. To me, that's mentorship. Then there's paid mentorship where I pay and I get service.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of free mentorship where people just were kind to me and good to me and willing to share their personal lives and businesses with me. And I got to just take all the good, and then I applied it to mine. And so because of that, I'm a big proponent in giving back. So I love teaching. I love sharing information. That's why I'm like struggling to put a coaching program together. Like, I'm not passionate about the money. You know, it's like, if I get 10 clients paying $1,000 a month, that's $120,000 a year. I'm like, it sucks all the fun out of it so I can make $120,000 more a year. Yeah. It's like, I'd rather just have conversations and share knowledge and learn from you and have you learn from me.
I mean, just saying that was huge. Being able to be a mentor and share experiences and knowledge and things that you've been through, what's gone right, what's gone wrong, that absorption is huge. You can't ever put a price point on that.
No.
At all. So I could see where you say, like, gosh, doing it, that'd be great, but is it worth $120K? Probably not, in your mind, because then you're going to feel like you're obligated.
I was going to get into that, but I didn't go into that. But yes, now I feel like I work for you, and I feel like, then I'm always questioning, am I doing enough? Am I providing enough value? And the other thing is, the true model of coaching is that you give 5% and then bump them to a higher price point. Then you give them the other 5%. Then you bump to another, and they don't even get the whole whammy until they're paying a premium. And by that point, it's been so long, they've forgotten the first 5, 10, 15, 20% you've given them. And it never really works, And so for me, I'm always like, how do I just give 100% on every one, So anyway, so yeah, it's fascinating. But cool. What else? Anything else?
I just love that. I love you giving back to individuals and being able to give your time, because, like I said, I feel like you guys are turning into an empire of an organization, and it seems that everybody that works under your umbrella just genuinely loves it, and it has a lot to do with leadership, but also just being real and being a person. I give back to nonprofits a lot. I sit on a couple of boards, and that's my way of giving back, is giving back to those that are still less fortunate. So if I didn't have people like that when I was younger and when I was struggling and didn't know my way, I wouldn't be where I am today. So for me, it's very important to give back to charities, help raise funds, do relationship management, introduce organizations to people and people to organizations.
Huge.
And mentor, in that facet, it's huge. There's nothing greater than giving back in that way. So thank you for mentoring people and individually humans, because you're trying to bring them and make them more successful. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You get to leave a little piece of you with them for the rest of their lives. Yeah. So that's a big part of it. And then the last thing you said is, what's next for me? What I'm learning, and I just had I had a meeting with a really great agent this morning, and we were talking about vision boards. And the last vision board that I had made, I put everything on the board that I'd wanted. And the problem was, I looked back and I said, okay, I'll just give you an example, but all the things that I'd put on there, as for example, let's say it was a house in Malibu. I'm not buying a house in Malibu, but I'm just going to give you some examples to make my point. A private jet. I'm not buying a private jet. But all these big things, when I put the things that I did want on this board, I looked back, I said, the problem is, it's time. You could give me a house in Malibu right now. You could literally hand me the keys to a house that sits on a cliff that's 10,000 square feet in Malibu. What would I do with it?
Right.
I can't visit it. I could barely get to my place in Bryan Head. Yeah. I can't do anything with it. You can give me a private jet. I could have a jet sitting at the airport right now with GG's on the wing. What would I do with it? I can't use it because I don't have time. So I knew at that point I had to kind of go back and reverse a little bit and get back to stay focused on the grind. But that moment allowed me to realize you're not done. Yeah, you may have put yourself in a position where at the very least, all your bills are paid and some excess cash flow from your rentals and your other businesses are flourishing. But in order for me to really have time, I got to get back in the driver's seat, flip more homes and buy more rentals.
Yeah.
To where there's such a surplus of cash every month without getting out of bed that then I could take that money and go and play.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really just kind of back to the grind right now. I love branding. I love building businesses and recognition. And that's what I do with all of my stuff. You know, I like to share that with everybody. Like, take a page out of my book with everything you do.
Yeah.
You know, hats, shirts, phone backgrounds, you know, the social media, the cars, just everywhere you go, you leave a little piece of you. One time it was the craziest experiment I did. I was at the gym, had a Galindo Group hat on, a Galindo shirt on. I look in the mirror, I walk out, I'm videoing as I walk out, holding my phone as if I'm texting. I get to the car, so I walk from the VIP locker room, through the regular locker room, through the juice bar area, through the lobby, out the parking lot, and I get to the car and I press stop and I press play. 14 people looked at me. 14 people looked at my brand on the way out.
It wasn't just the gay guys.
No, he definitely looked.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
But no, that's huge. And
people pay for impressions.
Yeah.
So I'm getting them for free by just wearing my gear.
yeah,
So that's really
organic.
And that's organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool for you to say that you want to build businesses to sell and, you know, to be able to push forward. I made a mistake of saying that my business was my baby to your mom. And let me tell you what,
She set you straight.
She said, no, your business isn't your baby. Your business is built for you to sell for profit and success for your future. So it was like a resonation when you just said that again. And to remind you that, hey, what you build is to one day let go of, you know, and time is the number one thing that I heard you said that you need for your vision board. And I agree with that, especially you guys have kids that you're raising and they have so much going on, but it's also important to spend time with them because soon enough they're going to be out of the house.
Oh yeah.
And then your hip's going to start hurting.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that point in life, and the vacations aren't going to be as fun and as valuable. So it's like, take the time now to do it and focus on things when you're young enough and you're able to run circles around your kids still.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's huge because you'll never get that time back.
If it was up to me, I would stop working now, spend all the time with my family and friends, and then work from like 55 till I die.
Yeah. That's actually
right.
pretty
Wouldn't that
cool.
be cool if it was that way?
Just have a doctorate and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Well, Travis, tell us how we can find you, your business. What are your social media handles? What do you got?
Social handles are Lux Lifestyle HQ, LUXE Lifestyle and HQ, and then we're luxlifestylehq.com.
Okay.
You can find us, and we're always available 24/7, 365.
I believe you. What a great business.
Thanks
for being here and thanks for sharing your
Thanks
story.
for having me, boss.
All right,
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys want to learn more about the tools, tips, and tricks that I use on a daily basis to maintain my success, stay connected with me through all of my socials at I am Josh Galindo.